Wow, that's a mouthful. So how much capacity would you consider for refactoring, fixing important bugs, things like that? Yeah, none. There you go. Nice and easy. None. Okay. The reason being, any of that stuff, while valuable to the working of the product, is really already been paid for by the product owner. So stopping work to do that seems unfair. It doesn't mean you don't deal with it, we just need to deal with it in a different way. Okay, so bugs. How do we deal with bugs? Put them on the backlog. Alright. I would recommend sizing them the same way as you size everything else, but don't claim the point, if you're using points, towards the product as part of your velocity, if you're doing that. Okay, that's not part of your capacity. That is reducing your capacity for doing actual productive work. So instead of saying we'll take out X hours to do bug fixing, why? Maybe they're not the most important things. Put them on the backlog, order them against everything that you've got, okay, and let's see. Maybe it'll come to the top, maybe it'll come towards the top, maybe there's no bugs in sight when it comes to planning, and therefore you're not working on bugs this sprint. Now, some of you are probably saying, yeah, if it's a showstopper, if your system falls down, if the building's on fire, you probably want to deal with that. I don't think we need to talk about those ones. Use some common sense, a little bit of practical application here would be handy. It's for the things where there's a judgment call to be made. That judgment call really belongs with the product owner, the person who is effectively buying the time. What you want to do is give them the ability to judge, is this important or not? And this is going to require conversations with the product owner and the developers and maybe the Scrum Master there to keep the wheels greased, keep things moving along. But it's not for the developers to decide this bug being fixed is as important as that feature being shipped, because the product owner may disagree. So in a conversation, get it on the backlog, get it ordered against all of the other types of work that are already in that backlog and deal with it that way. Don't reduce your capacity and say, you know what, we're going to apply tax to you, product owner dearest. We're going to tax you because we've made mistakes. That's all a bug is. It's a mistake. Instead say we're going to work on the most valuable things we can, and some of them are going to be bugs. Okay, because we are going to make mistakes, we're still human. But we're going to let you decide which bugs are important to you and which aren't. Please come and talk to us, because some of these are going to be very technical. They're going to be hard to understand. And we're going to do our best to help you understand so you can do your best and order it. And by the way, please trust us when we say it's a showstopper and we just need to get it fixed. Please give us that trust that we will. So for bugs, I wouldn't reduce the capacity at all. I would let the standard way of working solve it itself. At the other end, as part of the sprint review, maybe if you're reporting it outwards, I just wouldn't include the effort expended on bug fixing in my total capacity, because it's not. As a team, you know you spent effort on that so that for forecasting reasons you can get a good sense, but you didn't do that towards the product. You've already claimed those points previously when you released your feature, when you built your thing. Okay? This is the stuff that you got wrong. So don't claim those points outwards. Instead of delivering 40 points, you actually delivered 36 and 4 points was worth bug fixes. As a team, you know you're still at about 40 points and you can go into planning and move forward. But as far as everybody else is concerned, that's you fixing your mistakes. Don't claim it. Now, refactoring, I handle in a different way. I see many people do the same thing. They're like, oh, well, we need to put an item on the backlog for refactoring. It's the same thing. Refactoring is an admission as a team you didn't get it quite right. It may not be a bug, it may work, okay, but it could be better. And we're talking about changing things internally without the external world really seeing a difference. Hopefully it's cleaner, it's faster and things like that. But sometimes it is not coded to standards or whatever. Again, don't put things on backlog saying, can we please have time for that. I wouldn't even go that far. Okay? I mean, if you absolutely have to, okay, it goes on the backlog, treat it the same way as a bug. Don't claim those points as though you're delivering value to the product. You're not. You're doing the work correctly that you've already claimed the value of. Okay? Instead, what I tend to do is work with teams to slow down, okay? And use a very simple rule. When you open up the code, you work on it, you do your thing. Great. Leave that code in a better state than you found it. Okay, so you're going to take less into the sprint. Let's use those 40 points again, and you're going to say, we need to slow down a bit because we need to clean the code base as we go. We need to improve the look and feel, the maintainability, the supportability, all those wonderful abilities that come in for refactoring. So we're going to go a bit slower, and we're going to spend that extra time just making things bright. Give it a bit of a polish and a dust. And that way, the things that you touch regularly, those that maybe have bugs or they're new features or you're integrating into new parts of the system with old parts, their state is going to rapidly improve. The technical debt will drop. Hopefully you're putting your unit tests around it properly. All of these things that you're often using refactoring as a get out of jail free card for are all being done because you're going that bit slower. Okay, so you're taking that little bit less into your sprint in the short term so that in the future you can accelerate again. You're getting the house back up to standard. Instead of as a big spring clean, you're doing little and often. The product owner is still receiving value every sprint. Okay, not as much as they could, but we work with enlightened product owners. They understand the importance of keeping on top of things. Okay, because the reality is, if we don't do that, we're going to end up with a horrible thing that you may come across called a refactoring or a hardening sprint. An opportunity for the developers to not deliver anything useful for a few week period and just fix the things because they got them wrong. And when I think of those, I'm deeply upset, to be honest, that developers think that's an acceptable thing. Because when you ask it, can you think of any service you pay for where you'd be happy to turn up, pay the bill, and get nothing? That's what a refactoring sprint is. You're turning around to your product owner and saying, I want you to pay for this sprint. I want you to invest in us as a team and our ability. And by the way, we're not going to do anything for you for the next few weeks. We're going to fix a load of stuff that we did. Imagine taking your car to the garage. You're going in for a service, service and MOT. You need a piece of paper out the other end to say that you're allowed to drive your car on the road. So you drop your car off. And about lunchtime you get a phone call saying, yeah, and you're given a price and you pay the price on their wonderful apps that they all seem to have got now. Right? And then at the end of the day, your friend drops you over, you get there and they say, oh, no, we haven't done the work, but our workshop's a lot cleaner now, thanks. You're going to be livid. Why? How would a business work that way? That's a refactoring sprint. That's precisely what you've just done to your product owner. Okay? So instead of going that far, just take some more time out. Have that conversation with the product owner. Help them understand, yeah, there's some bad stuff in the system. Yes, we created it, or previous incumbents created it. Always blame the old devs. And we're going to have to go a little bit slower than we can to make sure that everything is brought up to scratch. Everything is to the right quality for this product because it's not today. It may have been to the right quality that we considered before, but we've moved the bar, we've improved it, and we want to make sure that this product is properly the level that we need it. Okay. As I said, if you absolutely have to, if there's a piece that just needs to be dealt with, all the devs look at it and they wakes them up at night and things like that, put it on the backlog. Treat it as that. Don't claim it as value delivered because it's not. Okay, but it's definitely effort delivered, and be very aware for capacity planning that you used it that way. Okay, but make sure in that review that you highlight the system is better, but we didn't add anything with this item. Okay. So if you're asked about capacity planning and bugs and things, my answer is not the standard, just take some time out. Because that is a very common thing, is, oh, we'll take 20% of our time to deal with defects. I've always been confused because what if those defects, what if that refactoring isn't important. The whole point of Scrum, the whole point of Agile, is to create a delighted customer, to give them what they most need when we can. And if they didn't need that bug, we've not done that. But we've taken time out to do that, so we feel like we need to fill the time. Instead, get things on the backlog. That is my default answer. Okay, across the board, get them on the backlog, order it against all the other work, and see if it is truly the valuable thing we feel it is. If you've got to this point in the video, I hope you've enjoyed it. If so, a like would be appreciated. If you want to hear more from me, more answers to questions that maybe you've got in the Agile world, please subscribe to the channel. And if you've got a question that you really want answered, drop it in the comments. I promise we'll get around to it. Thank you.